This is great news for the Dodgers starting rotation. We're breaking down Shohei Ohtani's Dodgers pitching debut, everything you need to know moving forward. Also, who's pitching tonight for the Dodgers? All that more coming up next on a jam-packed episode of Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys wanted a parade? We got a parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Milky Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I'm a credentialed member of the Dodgers media. And if you're new to the channel, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. I know there's a lot of people that watch the show but are not subscribed, so do me a huge favor and subscribe, because that way you'll be eligible for all of our giveaways. Got some giveaways coming up. Stay tuned for that. Every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, who is the bigger threat to the Dodgers in the National League West? Is it the Padres or is it the Giants? Right now, 45% say the Padres and 55% say the Giants. So join the conversation down below. Right now, the Dodgers sitting at 44-29 after beating the Padres last night. They're 2.5 games up on San Francisco in the division, and they're just 2 games back of the Tigers for best record in baseball, and they're close to the Mets as well. They're behind the Cubs and the Mets for the best record in the National League, a game and a half behind the Mets. So the Dodgers are right where they need to be, starting to play more complete baseball. The bullpen's looking better, the offense more consistent. But, of course, the big story last night was Shohei Ohtani making his Dodgers pitching debut. So we've got lots to get into, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the great news for the Dodgers and the hottest story in Dodger baseball is that last night it was just an inning. He threw just 28 pitches. He didn't get a strikeout. Shohei's line ended up being 1 inning, gave up 1 run on 2 hits, no strikeouts, no walks, 28 pitches, 16 for strikes, but he also threw triple-digit heat, topped out at 100.2 miles per hour. Yes, it was a ball. It also averaged 99.1 miles per hour on the four-seam fastball. The sweeper looked elite. The splitter, he threw it 1 time, was out of the zone to Gavin Sheets, but I think for starters, I'm going to do a deep dive on each of his pitches. We're going to break down his entire start. We tell you everything you need to know. But my first biggest takeaway is that version of Shohei Ohtani, even though it was a small sample size, just a tiny little sample, he looks like he has the potential to be a Game 1 starter in the postseason for the Dodgers. And hopefully the Dodgers are going to be in a position where they have to make a tough decision and choose between Yamamoto and Snell and Glasnow and Shohei. But the guy that took the mound last night in front of 53,000 plus at Dodger Stadium, feeling that adrenaline, he looked like someone that you would give the ball to in Game 1 of a postseason series. And even if he is slower on the buildup and it's going to take some time, it was the flashes last night that stood out. The dominating stuff that you simply just can't teach. And yes, like every pitcher coming back from Tommy John, and in his case, a second Tommy John, the command wasn't great from the outset. And his start evolved as he made adjustments when he went out there. And you saw early on that he was going out there trying to make a statement, going up against Fernando Tatis Jr. and this Padres offense and everything that is involved in this rivalry. He wanted to make his comeback against a division rival, and he goes out there, very first pitch, foul balls, a 97-mile-per-hour sinker, then ends up giving up a single to him. But during that at-bat, he did get that swinging strike, that 98-mile-per-hour fastball in the zone. And I think from that point on, it looked like, okay, Shohei's going to be confident enough to do this. And the first pitch I think that really stood out was that sweeper. The sweeper was his best pitch the last time we saw him in 2023. And it's the best pitch I think that he has now still. And I think that the sweeper has the potential to be better now than it was in 2023. And that was the pitch that stood out. He threw it 10 times. He averaged anywhere between 84 and 88 miles per hour on it, topped out at 89. It had 6.1 inches of horizontal break, 2.9 inches of vertical break. And from a Stuff Plus standpoint, it was at 143. So league average is 100. It was at 143. That was higher than any Stuff Plus grade on any of his sweepers that he's ever had. And I think it's a fair thing to question, was the velocity up because the adrenaline, 53 plus thousand, the fact that he knew he was going to go one inning. So it was he emptying the tank from that standpoint. That's a fair question, but you can't deny the movement. It is an absolute lethal sweeper, has great horizontal movement to it. And I think when you look at his arsenal moving forward, we're probably going to see more sweeper than a lot of the other pitches. I mean, the four-seam fastball, he didn't have it early yesterday, so he ended up going to more sweeper. And you saw a couple instances where he was yanking pitches glove side throughout the night, but the sweeper was the one that really stood out. The Padres, they made contact on it 5 times in 6 swings. 3 of those, though, were on ones where, I mean, he was making guys look foolish. And that is really what I think is going to be what he's going to be about moving forward is, okay, I'm going to be able to use a pitch that is going to get me out of tough situations and tough at-bats. And then when I do find the four-seam fastball and the sinker, then it's going to really start to play up, because the four-seam fastball wasn't as dominating as it has been throughout his career, but I think the velocity is what stood out. I mean, he had 98, 99 on it. That was where it was sitting, but he topped out at over 100, had 8 inches of vertical break, and he was just out there trying to find that pitch. And unfortunately, I mean, it just didn't have the command. Like I said, he was yanking it glove side a little bit, and he was just reaching back to get a little more. So it kind of makes you wonder, was the added velocity leading to the command issues? And you kind of have to find that sweet spot. I mean, from a Stuff Plus standpoint, it was at a 98. So I think from the command, that is something that's going to take a couple starts to get back. I mean, it's feel, it's adrenaline, and just finding that happy medium of, okay, what's the velocity we're going to sit at, and making sure that pitch is right. Because once he gets the feel for that pitch, add the sweeper at the same level he threw it last night, you already have 2 pitches that are going to help you be a dominant pitch. And then you had the sinker, which is a pitch that he didn't really throw that much. I mean, back in 2023, he threw his sinker 6% of the time. Last night, he threw 8 sinkers. It was between 97 and 98 miles per hour. It topped out at 99. At the end of the start, it was at 95. It had 2.9 inches of vertical break. And he really went to that early. I mean, he opened the game with the sinker to Fernando Tatis Jr., and as the usage kind of went on, he was mixing it up with it, because he had better feel for the sinker than he did for the four-seam fastball, and he was going to it when he was facing lefties. And on the pitch that Arise hit, it was a sinker down and in. Of course, lefties love that pitch in that spot. So probably from a pitch sequencing selection, you're probably not going to want to throw that pitch to a lefty in that spot. But still, I mean, you saw the potential with the pitch mix, the Sinker had a 113 stuff plus on it, so that definitely is an elite number for that pitch. So I think for him, it's going to be really interesting to see how he mixes up his fastballs, the four-seamer and the two-seamer, what that looks like moving forward. And then you got the splitter. So think about this. He looked good, all things considered, right? 663 days, hadn't made a start since August 2023, did not make minor league starts because he's a DH at the major league level. All those things considered, against a tough lineup at home with 50-plus thousand, he looked as good as he did without great command and without the use of that splitter. He threw the splitter just one time in 28 pitches, and it was to Gavin Sheets on one that really had nice vertical break to it. It went down, and if he had kind of spotted it higher in the zone, he might have gotten the swing and miss there. Didn't draw a swing on it, but he might have gotten it if he had gone a little higher in the zone. But if he finds that pitch into his arsenal, this guy is going to be lights out, and this guy is going to change the calculus of this starting rotation. I think that last night, could it have gotten any better? I mean, that's what I was asking myself. Could last night have been any better? Would it have been better to watch Shohei Ohtani go out there and have an immaculate inning and get 3 strikeouts? Sure, it would have, but what if those 3 strikeouts were him throwing 95 and 96, or him going to the splitter more often when in not having that sweeper? I mean, I think yesterday we saw a snapshot of what he has the potential to be this season, and that is a guy that can throw 100 with a devastating secondary pitch and a sweeper, and then implement a splitter and then mix it up with a two-seamer. And this is a guy coming off a second major arm surgery. And it's it's too early to kind of give you the full evaluation of him because you're just 1 inning and 28 pitches in. But I think if last night was any indication as far as stuff plays, I am at a 10 with how encouraged I am. I'm an absolute 10 with how encouraged I am because of the movement profiles, the high velocity. You're going to get the command back with repetitions. And I think, too, on top of everything else, just the fun factor of it. I mean, I love how he emotes differently when he's a pitcher versus when he's a hitter. When he's hitting, he's very stoic. It's, hey, tip my cap to the opposing dugout. How's it going, umpire? If it's a little off the edge, he gets called out. He kind of just grimaces but walks off and he takes it. How about when Manny Machado did the check swing and it should have been strike 3, and Manny Machado went around the world in 80 days there. Okay, like that was 100% a strikeout. It should have been a strikeout for sure. And then he ends up getting the sac fly that scored Tatis that made it a 1-0 game. And look, even if he does strike him out, Sheets grounded to second the next batter, so he could have potentially still scored there. So he probably would have still given up 1 run. What really hurt was that wild pitch by Otani letting Tatis get to second. But still, I mean, all things considered, 1 run, 2 hits, the way this stuff played, I was extremely encouraged by the performance of Shohei Ohtani. And the reason why this is great news for the Dodgers is now you look at this rotation, and we can talk all we want about how he could have looked and what he was going to look like. But I think now that we've seen him pitch 1 inning in 1 game and the kind of stuff that he has, if he improves every single appearance, every start, and the velocity trends, the movement trends, the command trends, well, guess what? The Dodgers have a bona fide ace, because that's what he has been for the last 3 years when he was pitching before he got injured. So if the Dodgers have not just an ace, but a dominating ace, that changes this rotation. And yes, you would love to get Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell healthy, which the organization feels confident that they both will be. But it does put you in a position where you start looking at this postseason rotation. You say to yourself, if I have Yamamoto and Otani at the very least, I have 2 options of having another ace in Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow. If I get one of those guys, Kersh pitching well-ish, Dustin May, Roki could come back, Tony Gonsolin, you have options there. I mean, Emmett Sheehan's going to make a start tomorrow. And then the Dodgers won't be in a position where they're going to have to be desperate for starting pitching. Now, all this hinges on staying healthy, but I think last night makes me feel a lot better about the top end of this rotation in the postseason. I think if Shohei is pitching like this, man, it would be tough to not give him the ball in game one. It would be tough to not give him the ball in game one. Of course, Yamamoto is someone that's incredible as well, and Snell and Glasnow too, but I think it'd be tough to keep the ball out of Shohei Ohtani's hands in game one of a postseason series. I really do. Now, more thoughts on last night with Shohei Ohtani are, the velocity of the way he was playing, the role that he had. It was really interesting before the game. Dave Roberts told us that he actually offered the leadoff spot to be flexible, that he offered Shohei the option to go out of that leadoff spot just because of the simple fact that he was starting the game as the home team. So the opposing team is hitting first, and then you have to go right into that dugout, which he did not do. He didn't even go in the dugout after he pitched the top half of the first inning. Javier came out, the Dodgers clubhouse attendant, and he comes out there and he goes and he gets him all of his gear, and he's able to just step to the plate. He ultimately struck out, but that's how it looked. And that's kind of one of those moments where we're like, wow, this isn't normal. This is not normal. But Dave said before the game, I ran it by him and he said, no problem. I'm good with it. I don't think it really affects him. This is going to be a short stint and it could change going forward. But right now he feels very comfortable with taking the mound, then coming into the dugout, getting on his stuff, and going to take an at-bat. So that is really interesting because he clearly feels like it's not going to be an issue from a time standpoint. But if you look back at his history, he did not bat at all in his first 12 starts of his career. And then when you had the two-way designation, they changed the roster and they made the Shohei Ohtani rule where he doesn't have to leave the game or anything like that. Well, the last 3 years, he hit in 71 of his 74 starts in Anaheim. And in those starts, he mainly was batting second. There was a couple instances where he did bat leadoff, and in those, there's only one where he was in a similar situation. It came on August 12, 2021 against the Blue Jays, where he pitched a scoreless top half of the first inning, and in the bottom half, he had a double there to lead it off for the Angels. So for his entire time batting with the Angels, he only hit leadoff while he was pitching on 4 different occasions. So there's only 4 times in all those starts where he hit leadoff. And in those at-bats, he ended up going 2 for 12, had a home run and a double, and only once did he bat in the bottom half after pitching in the top half, just like he did last night. So even last night was new for Shohei Ohtani as far as, he was pitching for the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium, but he only had experienced that once before. So, yeah, it was really electric. It was a game where it definitely had postseason feels. I got some good shots of all the fans. There was not really one fan I could even see when Shohei threw his first pitch. They did not have their cameras out. I didn't see every single Dodgers fan, cameras out, video out. It was absolutely crazy. He was capturing the imagination of the entire crowd. It was the 13th cell last night, 53,000. And not only did it have an impact on ticket prices, I was talking to fans that were paying 80% more, 70% more for their tickets. But last night was on MLB TV, and it was the most watched game in MLB TV history. Had a viewership that was up 28% from the previous high, which was the 2024 opening day game between the Yankees and the Astros. So the Ohtani impact is real. The rock star is there. He's basically Michael Jackson in baseball cleats, and that's how they were treating him last night. And it was one that we're never going to forget. I think it was the start of something big. I was extremely encouraged. We're going to talk more about his road to getting back on the mound, but here was Shohei Ohtani after the game talking about his first start in almost 2 years.
Can you ask him how he feels about his performance this season?
今日のパフォーマンス振り返ってみて。結果的にはそこまでいい結果だったとは言えないですけど、まず今日投げ終えて、また次も投げれそうな雰囲気があることがまず一歩前進かなとは思います。
Not quite happy with the results overall, but I think the biggest takeaway for me is that I feel, good enough to be able to make the next outing.
Was he a little nervous going out tonight?
少し緊張はしましたが。
そうですね、野手よりは緊張しましたね。はい。
Yeah, definitely a little bit more than when I was solely a position player.
Shohei, were you surprised the velocity was as high as it was? Just how did you feel about how this stuff played tonight?
球速上がったのびっくりしましたが。
そうですね、なるべく95、6ぐらいで投げたいなとは思ってたんですけど、やっぱりその試合のレベルでマウンドに行くと上がってしまうのかなっていうのはあったので、最後のボガーツ選手の打席に関してはリラックスして最後投げれたので、そこも一つ良かったかなと思います。
I was aiming to sit 95, 96, but the game intensity really just allowed me to throw a little harder. And I was able to adjust back to be able to throw 95, 96 against Bogarts in the last at bat.
Did you expect to do this kind of once a week moving forward and building up kind of the 2 innings and 3 innings in game action like this?
週1投げて、2イニング目、3イニングっていうなんかそういう過程になるんですかねと。
そうですね、100マイル近くまず実後投げたのは初めてなので、明日以降の反応を見たいなと思いますし、1週間に1回投げつつ、またイニングも少しずつ伸ばしていけたらブルペンにとっても少しでも負担が減るのかなと思います。
That's my expectation, but I did hit 100 today, so I want to see first where my body feels and how it reacts. And yes, but the expectation is for me to go once a week, hopefully to be able to go a little longer every time I'm out there, so that the bullpen won't be so taxed.
Is playing in a game where you're doing both at the same time, is that more fun? Do you get something more emotionally out of those types of games than maybe your standard game where you're just hitting?
二刀流でプレーしているとき、気持ちが高ぶるっていうか楽しいですか？
そうですね、比較的体がずっと温まってゲームに入っている状態で今日は打席には行けてたので、感覚的にはやっぱり DH よりスムーズに打席が過ごせる感じはしますかね。
What I noticed is that when I, warm up to pitch in a game, I'm already really warmed up, going into the game. So I did feel a lot better today overall than when I'm just DHing.
Shohei, you haven't pitched in almost 2 years. So what was it like just to be on the big league mound again in a game with a sold-out crowd and everything?
2年ぶりのマウンドで、もういろんな観客の前でどうでしたかと。
そうですね、本当に感謝しかないというか、ここまで2回目の手術で、シートの方もそうですし、トレーナーの方もそうですし、ずっとサポートしてもらってここまで来れたので、今日は結果云々関係なく、本当にそういう人たちに対して、すごく感謝の気持ちというか、それをマウンドで出せたのが良かったかなと思います。
I'm just really grateful, reflecting back on all the support that I received from the doctor who operated on me, the support staff on the team, and everybody who's supported me along the way. So I'm just grateful that aside from the results, to be able to show and be grateful for the moment that I had today.
Arigato. Thanks, Will.
And how cool is this? So, yeah, he gave up a run, but he also led to 2 runs. He accounted for 2 runs, drove in 2 runs, and this one went 2 for 4, had 2 RBIs and a walk. And the Dodgers offense, they got to Dylan Cease there in that frame where it looked like it was going to get out of hand in the 4th inning. Will Smith, he got a double after Teo got an infield single. Muncy, he singled to center, made a 3-2 game. Then Andy Pages was hit by a pitch by Dylan Cease, and that Andy Pages death stare just gives him the absolute death stare. And then there was a clip of Mike Schilt who was yelling at Andy Pages saying, "Who the F do you think you are?" Hey, Andy Pages, he thinks he's a World Series champion who is already someone that should be under serious all-star consideration in his young career. And then after that, the floodgates opened up. Conforto did strike out looking, but Edmonds singled to right. That scored a run, made it 4-2. Then Shohei scored, got the Dodgers another run after he singled to right to make it a 5-2 game. Then Betts singled, make it 6-2. So the Dodgers offense, they're just more complete up and down the line. But it was cool to see Shohei Ohtani go out there and provide the offense in a game where he pitches. I mean, that is the Shohei Ohtani experience. And yes, the Death Star isn't fully operational because he's not going 5 or 6 innings, but now we have a plan. The plan for Shohei Ohtani moving forward is you're going to see him going once a week, and he's only going to pitch more and ramp up, and you're going to see that go up. And I found it really interesting before the game, Brandon Gomes, the Dodgers GM, he talked to us and gave some insight to the decision-making process that had Shohei come back to the mound long before it was expected. Remember last Friday's show? The whole show was dedicated to Shohei Ohtani needs to pitch before the All-Star game. Now you know why. Because he did. And they thought it was a good idea because he wanted to do it. Brandon Gomes said, we got to the point where it feels like we should take the next step and almost finish the rehab at the major league level because of the taxing nature of what he was doing. So much of it was he was getting hot, throwing alive at 1:30, 2 o'clock, cooling down, then coming back and getting ready to lead off a game. I can't even imagine how taxing that is. So he didn't like that. Getting all ready, throwing alive, getting warm, then cooling down, then going to DH. So they figured, hey, the best thing to do was just to have him do this at the big league level against players that are the ones he's going to be competing with in the postseason, right? I mean, it's not playing rookie ball guys, not throwing rookie ball hitters anymore. And the thing is, the fact is he stays in the game, right? Because he's a two-way player. And I think for him, it's going to be really interesting to see how this ramp up continues and how much of a linear process it is. Does he go an inning extra every time? How much of it is based on the efficiency? How much of it is based on the stress and the velocity and how things like that look? So it's definitely something they feel really good about after one appearance. But the biggest takeaway from what Brandon Gomes said yesterday was this. This was the biggest takeaway. All the things that he said was we signed him to be a two-way player, and he's very much of the mindset that he wants to do that for a very long time. And we're ready to take that step. So the last part stands out. A very long time. You have pundits out there. Shohei shouldn't pitch. If he gets injured, what happens? You can say that about anyone. Shohei should just pitch a couple more years, then move to the outfield, move to the bullpen, even though when you consider the logistics of that, it doesn't make sense at all. He can only be a starter for the most part. Maybe in a select situation, you can close out a game in the postseason, but no, he's not going to be a bullpen guy. Can open games with him potentially, but he's not going to be someone that closes games for you. But he said, hey, I'm not really sure how it's going to play out, but he wants to do this for a long time. So if there was any doubt in your mind that Shohei didn't want to pitch anymore, that should be ended now. You can put that to rest. Shohei wants to be a pitcher. He wants to do this for a while because you just saw a different side of Shohei last night. The emotions. Like I said, after Machado had that check swing, he raised his arms like, what? When do you ever see Shohei do that? Never. And he's just different. He shows a different passion, different emotion. I think he loves to pitch, and we'll see how this plays out. But the truth is he wants to continue this, and the Dodgers are in lockstep with him about it. Even if there are some rocky starts and some bumps in the road and he's not at his best every single time or he has setbacks, they signed him to be a two-way player, and that's what he's going to be. So if you're of the mindset, no, Shohei should just hit, then you should get that out of your mind because that's not going to be the case. But I also thought, too, interestingly enough last night, how it really took the pressure off his teammates and how much they wanted him to have success. There is zero resentment, jealousy, or anything like that when it comes to Shohei Ohtani. You would think these players hate being asked about Shohei. When you ask about Shohei, their eyes light up because they recognize how special of a talent he is. They love that they're on a team with someone that's going to go down as one of the most, if not the most talked about players ever, along with the Babe Ruths and the Willie Mays of the world, the Jackie Robinsons of the world, the Hank Aaron's, that short list of all-time, almost folklore-type greats. And his teammates, look at what they did. Tommy Edman making that sliding play to get it to Freddie, who recovered to make the catch at first. How about the dive by Andy Paz in center, the throw by Andy Paz in center, how animated Shohei was after that call was safe where Tatis slid under the tag and Shohei was pumped because he thought they got him. It breathed life into this team. And I think that this team is going to feed off that Shohei Ohtani pitching energy for the rest of the way. And I also think, too, MVP talk, it's a lock, okay? He was already going to win the MVP with his offensive contributions, most likely being the NL leader in home runs, and we know how hot he got in the second half of last season, so he was already going to probably win the MVP anyway, but might as well give him the MVP in June. He's going to win his 4th MVP. He's going to join Barry Bonds. He's going to be in that class. So if he just goes out and does this for the rest of the way, well, hitting like that, he's going to win MVP, but I think that it'll be an absolute runaway. And he just really, really gave his teammates a lift, not just emotionally, but as Brandon Gomes pointed out, the beauty of these, that there are free innings. That's what Gomes said. And it doesn't come at the cost of anything. You don't lose a pitcher. You don't do anything. Anthony Bonda came in, then Ben Kasparius pitched, and then rest of his Dodgers bullpen led the way after that. But it's only positive, and he had a massive impact on his teammates. There was a buzz in that Dodgers clubhouse last night that I hadn't experienced this season so far. Maybe ring night, but even then, I think it was more palpable last night because of the potential. But here were some of his teammates talking about his first start as a Dodgers pitcher. Here was Max Muncy talking about Shohei after the game.
A lot of energy in the stadium tonight. What was it like for the team playing behind Shohei?
Yeah, it was fun. It was exciting to see him back out there. Obviously, he's incredible in the batter's box, but I think for all of us to see him get back on the mound, it was a really cool moment for all of us, and stuff looked electric. But when you haven't pitched in that long of a time and you don't really get a chance to do any rehab games, maybe the command's not going to be there, and that's kind of what we saw tonight.
You've seen him do it with the Angels, but to be on this side of it, was it a bit surreal?
Yeah, we always understood how hard it was to pitch and then come in and hit, but seeing him come off the mound and not even go into the dugout and put I don't know, it kind of hit a little different, seeing it from our side now, being man, that's incredible what he's able to do. And he threw 25, 30 pitches, whatever it was in the first inning, and then didn't even get a drink of water, just put his helmet on, went right into the batter's box. That's really hard to do.
So were you surprised at how well he performed?
I mean, I'm always surprised by him. He never stops surprising me, so it's we'll see how it progresses out for him.
And when you think about that, not only is it a big lift for him, it's a big lift for the rest of the team to see him do that.
Yeah, absolutely. His we obviously think very highly of him, and so to get him back, doing something that he loves to do, which is pitch, it's fun for us.
Were you surprised to see 100 up on the radar?
No, because we were seeing 95, 96 in his sim games, and you start packing the stands a little bit, you get that extra adrenaline, so not too surprised by that.
Did you forget? It's been 2 years. You forget what he looks like as a pitcher?
Well, he's different now. He's pitching out of a windup. So he didn't pitch out of the windup before, so yeah, it's a little different.
Max, you put the team ahead in that rally against Cease, 5-run 4th inning. What changed between the first 3 innings for you guys to be able to get to him in that inning?
I think he just made a couple mistakes, left a couple balls up in the zone. I know for me, the curveball that I hit was, was kind of middle of the plate, and the first at bat he really didn't miss anything above the bottom of the zone. So I think he just made a couple mistakes, and we were able to capitalize on it. And it was big for us.
Thank you.
And then here was Will Smith.
Obviously a big win for you guys, but there was a lot of buzz about Shohei pitching. What was it like catching him in that first inning?
Yeah, it was fun. Fun to see him out there in Dodger Stadium for the first time pitching. Hopefully a lot more innings to come.
Did you feed off the adrenaline of the stadium and just being there behind the plate for him?
Yeah, it was definitely cool. You know, you could feel the excitement. You could see, you know, all the fans that flocked to the bullpen to see him warm up. So everyone was excited. We were excited. So good to see him out there.
What do you think about the pitches themselves, like his execution, just not having pitched in 663 days and being out there?
Yeah, I mean, I was so impressed, you know. It's tough getting out there for the first time, you know, big game, starting different team than he's been before. So just try to get him settled in. So it's hard to settle in after one inning. I thought he did a great job. I'm sure, you know, next time, whenever that is, will be, you know, maybe a little better. So it's Shohei. So, you know, we expect a whole lot from him.
What changed against Cease in that fourth inning?
We just started collecting hits. You know, we got on base, soft contact, and balls fell in the outfield. Took good at bats and you know, a couple big hits.
It's all, with all the things that Shohei has gone through, it's almost like he's a medical marvel.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty normal TJ timeline. I feel like for him. Yeah.
His velocity was pretty good. Is that pretty much what you thought it would be?
Yeah. I mean, I know his bullpen's his lives. He's throwing hard. So you throw a little extra adrenaline in there. Probably gonna go out there and throw a little harder. I know he touched 199 and all that, so it's good to see.
Well, Otani always seems almost supernatural. Did he seem a little nervous tonight? Did he seem a little human?
No, he didn't seem nervous at all. You know, he was excited. He's been looking forward to this moment for a while. I know that. So it's good to see him out there.
What was his attitude before the game? You guys talked about a game plan, and what was that like?
Yeah, it seemed like a normal day for him. Yeah, we definitely met. We came with the game plan. Yeah, he seemed not nervous at all. Just, you know, excited, ready to help the team win. Get out there and, you know, pitch in.
Thank you.
That was Will Smith, his catcher, talking about. I see some comments down below. Get to these. We'll talk about the pitching matchup tonight. Camel Toe Inspector. First of all, on that name, come on. Otani's going into the Hall of Fame. 5 minutes after he retires, man, please retire that profile name, that username. Blau K on Wednesday of next week. 8 days from today, the season will be exactly half over, and Conforto is still as bad now as when this charade of the season started. What more do we need to see? We'll talk about that more in the seventh inning stretch. Manny Machado, I'm going to talk about the Manny Machado comments that he made about Andy Paz. You won't want to miss that. Let's read some comments, and we'll hear what Dave Roberts had to say about yesterday. Trying to get you guys caught up. Sammy Boy Smith, I doubt we'll still have both Conforto and Rojas out of the deadline. Milan 15 witnessed firsthand yesterday the celebrity D-Mac is among us. Dodgers fans, everyone and their mamas want a pic of Will Smith's twin. Great to chat yesterday at the game. Shout out to Milan 15. Man, I met so many Dodger fans, like 40 fans yesterday. So cool meeting you guys. And that's actually a perfect segue. It's a perfect segue because if you guys ever see me at Dodger Stadium, I go to at least 2 games every series, sometimes 3, 4. I mean, I'm there a lot. And I definitely do some walking around the concourse, and we're going to start doing the Dodgers Dugout Live questions of the day. And we did a couple yesterday. I asked Dodgers fans to say something nice about a Padres fan. I asked Dodgers fans if they would ever marry or date a Padres fans. Also, we talked about Aaron Judge and what makes Shohei Ohtani the better player to Aaron Judge. I asked Dodgers fans that yesterday, and we're going to get into that. So here was Dodgers fans at Dodger Stadium yesterday talking some Judge Ohtani. Why is Shohei Ohtani better than Aaron Judge?
Because he's more versatile. Can Aaron Judge pitch? Don't think so. Did Aaron Judge drop that ball when he should have caught it?
Pitches and he hits.
Simple as that, right?
Because he's just him. He's just him.
Yeah.
Better than Aaron Judge, better than Babe Ruth.
He does everything. He's a unicorn.
Well, Aaron Judge can't pitch. Ohtani can do everything. He's a 300 hitter. He hits 50 bombs. He's proven he's the best. And he's a career 3.01 ERA. So he's proven he can be up there with the top pitchers in the league too.
Because he's a unicorn. He's able to do many different things, different facets. He's able to impact a game on 2 different levels, and that's why he's the best and the greatest of all time.
Well, you look at the MVPs, and he has the 50-50. It can speak for itself.
Shohei, like, he's not real. He's just not real. Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Because he's a two-way player, and he's just so nice and kind and humble, and He's just better because he's ours.
Aaron Judge can't pitch, you know. Otani hits just as good as him, but Aaron Judge has an easy position. So once Shohei starts getting in the rotation, come on, man, you can't do. He's the only one that hit 50-50. There's no way. Aaron Judge never came close to that yet.
I think, on the base path, if you look at the total bases last year, right? And then now he's a pitcher too. It's just like the athleticism is just so much better. But, that's obviously my opinion. You know what I mean?
Aaron Judge is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're both awesome, man.
I would much rather have Shohei though. Like,
absolutely.
But that's just bro.
Let me get Let's Go Dodgers.
Let's go Dodgers.
Man, bro. Stay it easy, man. There you go. Let's get a Let's Go Dodgers.
Let's go Dodgers!
Yeah.
Let's go Dodgers!
There you go. Just shout out to all the Dodgers fans I met yesterday, and look for me all season long so you can be a part of the show. Brandon Key, D-Mac, how was it catching the show? Yeah, it was great because I'm Will Smith. Beer Sama, come on, D-Mac. Rod Wilson, what is up? D-Mac, what day is Otani expected next week to pitch? Yeah, so we'll see what it's going to be, but it's going to be at some point during that Rockies series. Justin Lombs, that will be on the road at Coors Field, so that'll be a tough test. Hey, Doug, do you know that Profar passed 8 drug tests last year? Hey, man, there's something about that. Roy Estrada, holy shield, potheads, who do you think you are? All the fans want D-Mac to take a bite of their glizzy. Okay, Jose Aguirre, you guys chill. You guys need to chill. Nando, people were asking about you yesterday. On the out-of-pocket things you say on the show, they were talking about you yesterday, and I'm just going to give everyone a nice little bruh for that one. But it was all good. It was all good, trust me. But here we go.
Bruh.
All right, guys. So the pitching matchup has not been announced yet. There was thought that, of course, Matt Sauer would get the ball because he's rested. He threw 111 pitches against this Padres team last week, but tonight it is going to be a Matt Sauer, Jack Dreyer combo in this one. I mean, you look at yesterday, Alex Vesia, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, they're most likely going to be unavailable. Michael Kopech and Anthony Banda, it will be their third appearance in 4 days. They just haven't done that this season as far as taxing their bullpen. They try to keep things spaced out. And then Banda, he threw 21 pitches yesterday, so he's probably going to be unavailable in this one. And Sauer's going to have 6 full days of rest, so he has to factor in Lou Trevino. I think you'll see he was on 5 days rest. Jack Dry has 5 days of rest. Justin Robleski has 3 days of rest. He threw 66 pitches a few days ago. So that is going to be the mix there. And the other thing, too, is you're going to need to have some guys available with Emmett Sheehan going the next day. So he'll hopefully be able to go 3 or 4 innings, something in that range. But that is what you're looking at. I suspect it probably is going to look like a Jack Dreyer, a Matt Sauer. Yesterday, Anthony Banda came in before Ben Casperia. So if you want to play kind of the left-handed, right-handed matchup game, that's most likely what it's going to look like from that standpoint. So, yeah, that is going to be announced any minute. That's what we're going to be looking at. I do want to talk about this Andy Pages situation. But first, let's hear what Dave Roberts had to say after the game and the plan moving forward for Shohei Ohtani.
I thought it was great. Obviously, we gave up a run, but I thought the stuff was really good. Much better as far as the fastball velocity than I think anyone anticipated. Hit 100. I was thinking 95 to 97, but I think that just the competitor adrenaline came out in him. And, they built an inning. I thought he made some really competitive pitches, but overall, just really positive day for us. And, today, I don't think it affected his offense. And like I said, before the game, tomorrow we'll be telling to see how he feels as far as fatigue, but I thought overall pretty exciting.
Where was he as far as his limit? Was he getting close to his pitch limit?
I wasn't going to push him past 30, so Bogarts was going to be his last hitter.
Has that been your biggest takeaway just watching him these last couple months, is how well this stuff is, or just how kind of electric it is to be coming off of a second DJ?
I think that's part of it. Seeing how he's just managed the emotions of it all. You got to be extremely disciplined. to be able to kind of put your mind and body in the position to do that. But the stuff, like I said, I didn't expect to see 100 tonight. I didn't expect to see the command that he had tonight. And the stuff was really good.
He said he expects to pitch once a week. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. So, you're talking 6 or 7, 8 days, something like that. And, we'll see how he is and whether it's another 1 inning the next time or, 2 innings. I don't know that yet, but, it's kind of a read and react situation.
Hey, you were standing, I think, right next to him when he was like leaning up against the railing and like putting on his batting gloves and his elbow guard, like right after pitching. Like seeing that take place, like that transition. Like
it was really surreal. It was, I don't know if surreal is a word, but it was just really interesting to see him just come straight from the mound to the on deck circle to get his stuff on and declined a thing of water from Yosh and. Bob Guerin got him a towel to wipe some sweat off his forehead, but then to go up and take it at bat, it's just, and to see him come into the dugout from the pen, all that stuff, I was kind of fanboying for like a half an inning.
Dave, it seemed like he was a lot more expressive on the mound today than we've seen him maybe like in the batter's box. I think he himself has kind of talked about, kind of different mindsets he has hitting and pitching. Do you see almost like a different personality?
Yes, yeah, and I talked to, people that have had him before, Phil Nevin being one, and he, I guess as a pitcher, he shows a lot more emotion and gets frustrated when things don't go well or he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. On the mound, I think he's a little animated in the sense of a couple of calls that were close. There was a check swing from Manny. But yeah, I'm still gathering information, but yeah, he was a little more animated than typically he is, yeah.
Pitcher persona, did it remind you of anybody at all?
Not yet. I don't have that comp yet, but just the physicality, just the kind of coming after you, the stuff. I like the way he challenged the hitters, but I don't have a comp quite yet.
Is the plan, if he's going to go every week or every 6 days, to have Ben piggyback him like you did tonight, at least as he builds back?
We'll see, Michael. Obviously, that would be Sunday, so we'll see if it's Sunday. It could be Saturday, it could be Monday, it could be Sunday. So there's not one set in stone yet.
What changed against Cease? First 3 innings?
I thought early on the slider, like in San Diego, it was bottomed out at the knees. The fastball was 100 at the top of the zone, and then the second time around he started to miss up a little bit and we got more wood on it. So I think that just the location, just the slider was up a tick higher than it was. No, it was, I don't think it was intentional. It just never feels good to get hit on the arm by 100. So I think Andy was just more frustrated. I don't think there was intent behind it, and it got diffused quickly.
Dave, who pitches tomorrow for you?
We're still talking about it. It's going to be a bullpen day, clearly. I don't know who's going to take the bulk of the game. Don't know who's going to start the game. We're contemplating a couple lefties, a couple righties. So we're going to talk about it, but I'll inform the Padres as soon as I hear tonight.
Wednesday?
Emmett will start on Wednesday, yeah.
Obviously, there was a lot of excitement, but was there like a sense of relief almost?
I don't know. I just think that we've done everything the right way as far as the process. So it's not like we were kind of nervous as far as how he was going to feel or anything like that. So I wouldn't say relief. I think we're just kind of excited that we finally got that first one under our belt.
I know it's only 1 inning, but he looked, like himself in the batter's box, had 2 hits, had the RBIs. So how did that make you feel about him handling a bigger workload on the mound and being able to still continue to produce as a bad player?
Felt good about it. And I don't think you really know until you know. And we'll see how he comes out tomorrow. But as far as tonight, I just think that there was a lot of adrenaline still that got him through it. And it didn't certainly affect the offensive performance yet.
When you saw 100 from Shohei, were you excited or were you concerned that he might be going a little too hard his first time out?
Maybe more the latter. Understand it, but I was just kind of, hoping for a more tempered 97, 96 than 100. But when you're a competitor, you're just trying to get guys out. And if you have 100 in the tank, you're going to use it, and that's what he does.
Dave, do you think he's able to compartmentalize so well because he's out there like having so much fun? There's so much joy in how he plays.
I know he's having fun doing it. I know he loves the challenge. I think he's just able to compartmentalize things. I just think that's who he is. And he just has a way of kind of focusing on whatever task is at hand, and he enjoys that process of it. I don't think he's just kind of, just jovial about being a two-way player. I think he just really takes pride in being really good at it too.
So there's Dave Roberts, Emmett Sheehan starting Wednesday. Did say that they diffused the situation with Andy Pages. We'll talk about that on the walk-up. But now it's your time to shine. The floor is yours, Dodgers Nation, here, where we answer all of your questions, everything that you got, all your takes about your boys in blue here on the seventh inning stretch.
The seventh inning stretch.
And we will give out a comment to the show. We got D-Mac. You going to be the ring bearer at the Roberts Conforto wedding? BL Boyd? That's a comment. Right off the bat, that's kind of a comment of the show. I might have to give that an early comment of the show. I could be that ring bearer. I've been a ring bearer a couple times. It's been a while. It's been a pretty long time, but
You win. Perfect.
mistake line. The difference is Judge is an all-time hitter. Shohei is an all-time player and the best single player we've ever seen. D-Mac saved himself all the tortoise for Jose Aguirre, but not for me. We got Aaron James Judge. Pages has that Twism mentality. That's from Thuns. We got Otani can steal bases. That's from Camel. Dead Doy, should Aaron have caught the ball when he dropped? That's from Dead. Beer Sama, bruh. Otani going to get a no-hitter against the Rockies. We'll see. I mean, he pitched on, they're going to do it once a week if they're going to wait for a whole 7 days. I mean, the Nationals would be a nice soft landing before they left. They got a 3-game series with them, but if they want to just do it kind of around the same time, that's going to be the option for them. Dave Dead, we got Nando. They should bat Otani in the cleanup spot on the days he pitches. M, how's it going? We've got R Nation. Who cares about it? We got Paul Gutierrez, D-Mac, our glass arm, and Smell coming back soon. Paul, come on. No need to change those names right there. Let's be honest. Come on now. I think that they're both trending in the right direction. I mean, Blake Snell, here's the Blake Snell bobblehead from yesterday if you guys want to check it out. He was there. They're throughout the first pitch. Nice little bobblehead. There's the Blake Snell, the Snellzilla. Good stuff right there. But, yeah, we'll do a full injury update tomorrow. But things are trending. I mean, Tyler Glasnow's throwing and Blake Snell's throwing, and they're ramping up to bullpen sessions. The issue with them is they have to go on minor league rehab starts, and that is what is next for them. Joe Megazzeni, any update on Roki Sasaki? So yesterday, Brandon Gomes did talk briefly about Roki Sasaki, and it sounds to me like it's not like his season is over or anything like that. He said about Roki Sasaki that he threw plyo balls yesterday and that he felt good coming out of it. They're still early in the process of getting him back, but it was a positive day for Roki. So that's good news. I mean, I think like Dave Roberts said a couple days ago that you can't operate on the assumptions he'd come back and be a big part of your team, but you'll take whatever you get out of him knowing that this is a 6-year process, right? We've got Pink Pearl 8190, 8130. It's actually nice to be able to hear Doc. All these interviews I see have horrible audio. We got Where's My Boy Kershat. We've got Let's Go. Yeah, he does know ball. I got the stats. That kid knew it. All those guys were awesome with it, really. Pajes to right field. Delirium 9 with this season almost halfway done. We need a Comets Nation update. How well are our prospects doing? Yeah, I'm going to have my guy Casey Porter on the show pretty soon. We're also talking to Alex Freeland, who does the play-by-play for the Comets, so look out for that. We'll definitely give you the full update for sure. Who do you guys want me to block? The 99/22 guy played Dawn Rushing or over Smith? No. Let's do some more. The Gator Show. Shohei needs to drop to third in the lineup on days he pitches. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. And right now he doesn't want to do that, and it was his decision. I mean, that's kind of one of the big takeaways from yesterday for me. It was, hey, the Dodgers are in lockstep with Shohei. They're going to base a lot of the decision-making on his feedback. So if he wants to stay at leadoff, he will stay at leadoff. And that's just all there is to it, because you're getting an extra 50 to 60 plate appearances from him, and he has the ability to go yard. And I think with the way the bottom of the lineup has been, the way the lineup has been performing, that's something that is encouraging. That as long as he has run-producing opportunities, it's going to be fine. And you want to stagger that lineup for sure. All right, guys, running out of time. So let's go to the walk-off. And we're going to talk about some more Andy Pages here.
The walk-off.
So I think it says a lot about this team, the way they reacted to this moment. Because Dylan Cease, he was dealing early. He had his stuff. He was pumping 99, 100, lots of adrenaline in this one. But he came unraveled there in the fourth inning. The Dodgers up 3-2. Andy Pages up the plate, a runner on first, and Andy Pages gets plunked.
Gets hit.
And you see right there, look at that death stare.
Dylan Cease.
Look at the death stare from Andy Pages. And the bench is empty. The dugouts came out a little bit. It was a little hold me back, nothing too serious. But Mike Schilt, look what Mike Schilt yelling to Andy Pages. Who the F do you think you are? Look at this. Who the F do you think you are? That's Mike Schilt. Someone called him John Voight earlier. But then you look at the death stare. You look at the death stare from Pages here. That's a true death stare. Look at that. Gets hit. Stands there. He's not happy. Didn't want to get plunked. And after the game, Manny Machado was asked about the incident. And Manny Machado, who's always involved, always has something to say. He, of course, had to jump in on this. And he said that, hey, they have other superstars. The Dodgers had other superstars out there. He said they've got way more superstars over there. If we want to hit somebody, they've got some big dogs over there that we could hit. Tried to diminish Andy Pages. Hey, I got news for you, Manny Machado. If you had Andy Pages, he'd be right there with Fernando Tatis Jr. as one of the best players on your team right now. Him and Fernando Tatis Jr. have checks notes. Both hit 13 home runs this season. So to try to diminish or downplay Andy Pages, and yes, he's not a superstar yet or an all-star yet, but still to try to throw that jab, we saw what you were doing. We saw what you were doing, Manny. And I think that tonight the Dodgers are going to be even more motivated, because I love the way that, hey, you hit Andy Pages and the rest of the Dodgers, they came in, that was 21 Jump Street on that Padres team after that. The way they just rolled up on them, they had the big inning, the 5-run inning, and they just ended that thing because they had Pages' back, and you love to see it. So, Manny, just stay out of this, okay? Stay out of this, and we'll see what happens tonight. But worry about your own team, because, hey, you wish you had Andy Pages, because Andy Pages might not be the biggest dog on the Dodgers, but he would be a Great Dane on the Padres right now, right? He'd be a big dog over there. So you wish you had Andy Pages. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button on your way out for your Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll be back after the game for the post-game show. Remember, nothing brings together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.